told him. Because I was straight honest with him. You know, I was like, grab that for me. Like I didn't lie. I told the truth about it.
I hope for your sake they care about the truth.
They did in my case. They did today. Yo,
School districts in the area that was closed.
Yo, he told me he was there. And she was scared to talk to him because every time he asked her a question, she wanted to Huh? I'm not gonna say husky, but he's big, not tall. That's the only reason.
Does this come back to you?
Which one? He said no, because he was gay. Did you talk to my cousin? Did you try anytime between 12 a.m.? Because it gotta be the preload shift. You went down there?
But the security guard.
Wouldn't let you through? Did you ask him to speak to Anthony?
A young guy. He said there's like 7 numbers. His name, what was his name?
Andrew.
No, but
I just hope I'm not fired.
no, the guy said that if you just started, because he was working on a Friday night, because he working.
Preload.
I said nope. I said, can you tell me? He was, I went to the security.
But you didn't just give somebody my name, hey, he's not coming in today.
Yeah, I told him.
This person's not coming in
I
today.
told him your name, yeah. And then this other guy, he gave me this number, but it's not in service anymore. So he was like looking at his number. He said, that's not your name. It's somebody not coming in.
13 from high school.
The guy said,
You got any food in the car right now? I'm starving.
no.
Over 5,
The guy said that I told him that they're nervous.
Okay. I'm about, I would have been like, listen, I had an incident. I'm gonna come up on it. I can't prove the thing. I had a traffic incident. I'm not gonna let you do it because it's gonna make me look stupid.
I didn't want him to come.
Yeah, but if I gotta prove it, I'd rather tell them the truth. Because they can't argue with that. You dig? Huh? Let's do something fun. Wait, hold on.
You too.
I can't reach no doggone body.
This is the day after.
People, yeah, and
Joanne Brooks. Hey, how are you? Trooper Condilly's a little tied up, so I'm gonna rep the hearing, okay? Oh, people in there, never mind. We'll go to that one, okay? I don't have the citation. Do you have them on there?
you know, it's bad.
Okay, Ms. Tina. I told him that we wanted to have a hearing, and he said that he wants to have his other witnesses here. So I think he's gonna ask for a continuance. We'll obviously object. So let's go into the courtroom and see what the judge says.
See what the judge wants to say. I'm not too worried about it. We're ready, whatever.
Can I see your paperwork that you showed me before?
I'm sorry?
Can I see your paperwork that you showed
Oh,
me?
certainly. That's the law. You want the ones with the printout of the,
Mhm.
all those.
Okay, thank you.
There's where he's, that right there is where he said it was private.
Mhm.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your Honor.
This is Marilyn Teed.
Yes, Your Honor. We're pursuing to have a hearing. We're ready to have a hearing, Judge.
All right. You're the only witness?
Yes, sir. In fact, based on that, I'd like to have it continue to have the church witnesses show up. They were unable to show up, I think, due to the weather.
The what witness?
The church witnesses, the actual pastor of the church. No reason for the call.
Ask him to produce the video.
Judge, it looks like the hearing was continued. I don't know why on prior occasions. It was continued from October 2nd to October 9th, and then from October 9th to today's date.
I don't know, I could see if I can give you an answer.
And then I would note that unfortunately, as we defense attorneys always argue, the courts are allowing the troopers and officers to testify to hearsay.
I can't hear you. Tell me again.
There's just no reason for a continuance, because the troopers and officers, of course, are allowed to testify to hearsay. Even when we object, the appellate courts have held that they're allowed to present it. So, all the pastor would say is that apparently in what's in the PC, that it was a private.
And there's a video.
Oh,
mean, you can proceed with whatever you have. All right. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
All right, sir, on the date in question, we received a service call from members of the Central Schwenkfelder Church, here I guess off of what, 363, I think it was Steelman Road. They were having a church fair, a church event that day outside, and the service call was related to a belligerent female. I arrived on scene. I had to park my car away from the pedestrian traffic at like the entrance to where they were having this event. And you could have, let me rephrase that. The pastor comes up or another church member and says, hey, the individual's over here. Well, what's the issue? We asked this individual to leave, she won't leave. She's preaching about flattery. As we get closer, you can hear that she is talking very loudly or yelling about this movement of hers. So I have the other members of the church. There's 2 people specifically listed in the incident report, 3 to be exact, including the pastor, of people that were around me, and they asked her to leave. This is church, Central Schwenkfelder Church is private property, owned by that Central Schwenkfelder Church domain. And he asked her to leave. She won't leave, citing specific examples in case law saying that she doesn't have to leave. After that went on a few times, I then asked her to leave. I tried pleading with her about leaving, but she still failed to leave. So at that point I had her place her hands behind her back, at which she fought back. So she resisted arrest. I was able to subdue her, put handcuffs on her, essentially charge her with the following sections for disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. There's one on there for posting signs on the property of another. And in any case, we towed her vehicle that day because the church, the vehicle was located on private property. And when we get back to the station, we discovered that her cell phone was around her neck recording the whole incident. And through her own admission, she said that she was recording the whole incident on a cell phone around her neck. So seized the cell phone. I applied for a search warrant. The search warrant came from, you were not in, it came from Judge Levine. And that's all in the administrative process now. And the defendant, Ms. Teed, is over here at the green
Counselor?
thing around her neck. And I think that's it for now.
Okay, thank you. So, Trooper, you had to park away because there were many people and many cars there, right?
Cars were on the left, a lot of pedestrian foot traffic.
Okay, are we talking like at least 100 people?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, estimate for me, how many people it was there?
I'm not gonna estimate because I don't really know how many people.
Was it more than 50 people?
Could have been more than 10, could have been more than 20. I'm not really sure. There was people walking about.
You know that this was advertised on social media as being open to the public, correct?
Sure.
It was a country fair where there was music and food. So it was advertised in many different social media platforms. Are you aware of that?
I'm sure of it.
Okay. So anyone from the public who wanted to go could go, correct?
I'm sure of it.
All right. And when you got there, you talked to several people before approaching Miss Teed, right?
The pastor or his assistant.
Or his assistant?
Yeah, whoever that was.
Okay, well, what was the pastor's name?
It's listed in the incident report. I don't have it on me.
You're talking about your affidavit, or you're talking about your
It's
incident report?
actually listed in our state police incident report.
So you don't remember that person's name, and
I
what
can go
about?
get it if you want me to get it right now.
If you don't know it, that's fine. What was
The
the?
pastor of Central Schwenkfelder Church.
Okay, and who's the assistant? Do you know that?
Another person I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. And basically, what was happening was Ms. Teed was providing information about the earth being flat, correct?
In an obnoxious manner, yes.
Well, she had a placard that had the information on both sides of it, correct?
Posting signs on the property of another, yes.
wasn't posting on anything. It was actually its own apparatus that was on wheels, correct?
But still on private property, yes.
That was open to the public that day.
On private property, yes.
Was it open to the public that day?
It was, but
Okay.
private property, yes.
And it wasn't anything that was posted on the building at the church. This was something that she brought onto the property, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it was essentially disseminating information.
Well, like you just said, ma'am, you posted on the property of the church, yes. Like on the church physical grounds is the property.
If I carry my purse on me and I walk on to the church property, then I have brought an item onto the church property, correct?
Yes.
All right. And similar to that, she brought this apparatus and stood next to it, and it had information on it that she was conveying to other people there, correct?
The information she was conveying was not the issue,
The issue was is that somebody asked her to leave, right?
and she failed to do so.
Okay. But she was in a public place for that day, and she was trying to convey information to other people, right?
She was at a public event on private property.
We're agreed on that. And she was conveying information to people at that event, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And the pastor didn't want her there though, right?
because she was creating a disturbance.
That's a conclusion, okay?
That's what happened,
What did you observe?
that she was creating a disturbance.
How so?
Because nobody was around her. They were obviously being alarmed and annoyed because she was,
You're using the language of the statute instead of giving facts.
that's a
So
fact.
it's not. You don't have any witnesses here to say that they were alarmed or
And
disturbed,
that's why I asked for a continuance, so they can be here.
which apparently was denied. So what did you observe when you approached Ms. Teague?
That she was trying to spread her flat earth opinion to everybody there,
By talking and
By
by
talking and
displaying
yelling.
the information.
talking and yelling. At which point she created a disturbance,
Again, objection to the legal conclusion.
at which point she created an atmosphere of annoyance and alarm.
Objection. You were there responding to a call, correct?
It was immediately apparent who I was looking for when I got there,
Well,
based
of
on how
course.
she was acting.
You were directed where to go, right?
But it did not take long once I was within earshot.
Trooper, you'd already testified that when you got there, you spoke to the pastor, right?
Yes.
He told you the person that he didn't want there, right?
Yes,
Okay, you went to where she was standing, and you're testifying that she was talking and that she was yelling, right?
yes,
How many acres is this church property on?
I'm not sure.
More than one?
In that particular area where she was standing, probably like, a quarter acre.
Okay. And so in order for people to hear her beyond those people that would have been standing in her immediate vicinity, such as you are standing to us, she would have to yell for them to hear her, correct?
Reasonable assumption. So the problem is she was asked to
I
leave
didn't
and
ask you
failed.
a question,
She failed to do
Trooper.
so.
Did not ask you a question. So once you got there, you asked her to leave, and she said she had a right to be there under the First Amendment, correct?
Yeah, and we actually gave her the opportunity to go out on the street and do it. She still failed to do that.
Right, because she said she was in a public place for that day, correct?
Private property, but we'll go with what you want us to go with.
No, we're not gonna go with what we want. I'm actually asking you what she told you. So I'm
Yes.
not saying whether you believe it or not, but she told you that she had a right to be there because it was open to the public, right? Isn't that what she told you?
When she was asked to leave, she had to leave, period. Private property.
It's not your time to make an argument.
That's
It's
not
just
an
the
argument.
time to answer a question.
That's it, I'm answering your question.
We've already been over that a couple times now, so.
Yeah.
So,
So you said that she fought you. So how did she fight your arrest of her?
she did not willingly go into handcuffs. We had to use force to overcome it.
Okay. And she's 64 years old, right?
Yep.
And how old are you?
I don't see what the point of this is.
How old are you?
35.
And how many other officers were there?
At that point, it was just me.
Okay, and so you grabbed her wrist to place handcuffs on her?
Mm-hmm.
Is it yes?
Yes.
Okay, and how did she resist you placing her into handcuffs?
She tensed up and resist.
She tensed up. Okay, did she run away from you?
Well, she would have.
Did she run away from you?
Did not.
Okay. Did she attempt to strike you?
She attempted to fight back
How did she do that?
by resisting the arrest.
That's a legal conclusion, Trooper. So how did she kick you?
Nope.
And there were witnesses to you placing her into custody, right?
Yep.
Okay. Did another trooper arrive on scene?
At some point,
Was she already in custody?
at that point.
I don't have any other questions of the witness.
All right, is that the Commonwealth's case? Counsel?
Judge, I just have argument. Judge, it's not a resisting arrest. Resisting arrest, I mean, I won't argue that, first of all, it has to be a lawful arrest. That is one element of it. But certainly tensing up to avoid being handcuffed is not the type of conduct that we're talking about. In fact, the appellate courts have held that a scuffle is not even what's meant to be covered under the resisting arrest statute. So clearly, tensing up does not qualify. There's no fight here. There's no intention to flee. So, it is not a resisting arrest. With regard to the defiant trespass, it's a public event that was being held on the church property that day. I believe that the trespass statute states that as long as you are conducting yourself in an appropriate manner in a public place, that's a defense to the trespass statute. She's disseminating information, and in order to do so on that large of a property, she needs to raise her voice to do that. She's not yelling at people. She's not attempting to insult anyone. She's simply trying to disseminate information, which of course is protected conduct. So I would submit that it's not a trespass. It's not disorderly conduct. She's not trying to cause public inconvenience or alarm. She's actually trying to educate people. Whether we agree with her viewpoint or not is really not the point.
All right, this is resisting arrest charge dismissed. She's held for court on the other charges. Her next date is January 29th, 2020. I have a notice for her. Is she gonna waive that today?
The arraignment, yes, if you have a waiver of arraignment, yes, please, Judge.
Do you have a form or do you?
I don't have one, Judge, I don't. I'm sorry about that.
The trooper lied in his testimony.
Okay.
When he said he didn't know.
Thank you.
He didn't know I had a cell phone because
So we'll get
there
all
are
that during the
4
discovery
things.
process?
There are 4 things around my neck.
Okay.
Here's the 3, and he knew the other one was there. And he waited to get to the barracks so he could take it.
All right, Ms. Teed, this is just the formal arraignment, and at the formal arraignment, they just inform you about what your charges are. You obviously already know what they are.
Okay.
The judge dismissed the resisting arrest, but he moved the defiant trespass and disorderly conduct up to the next level. So I'm gonna first give you the notice of the formal arraignment on January 20th and ask you to sign that. That's simply notice of that date.
And if I may, the pastor at the church, he still did not want her back at that church for the reasons listed below.
This is a waiver of the arraignment. So people that are represented don't usually go to the formal arraignment, so I'm gonna ask you to waive that. The next court date that you're going to be interested in is the pretrial conference date. Okay, so I need you
So
to
sign
you
both.
sign here so you don't have to appear on the January 29th date. You have to sign this one too.
Does the judge know that I was married in that church and I was a member?
But that doesn't make the difference for that day.
All right, the rest of you, Steve.
Thank you.
And Ms. Sweet, so you're going to look for that next court date
Judge,
in the
thank you.
mail? It would be your
I'll
pretrial
see you
conference.
there.
And when will that be?
All right.
It's
They'll notify me?
You will, you'll get it in the mail. It's usually about 4 weeks after the arraignment date, so I think probably sometime in February.
Okay, it's fine.
All right, probably,
You guys have a good day.
you
You
too,
too.
Sheila. Probably shouldn't go to that property, it sounds like.
I vote at that property, and I had to go get an absentee ballot.
So I don't think that there are any elections between
No, but
now.
already it's been an inconvenience and an assault,
Well,
an
you're
insult.
gonna run the risk of being further cited.
I
for
did not go
trespass
there.
if you- I'm telling you for the future, between now and your next court
And
date.
hey, not for nothing,
Uh-huh.
I know this is like business, like I'm willing to work with her down the road
Okay.
on whatever we can do to, at the next level up, then go away.
Give my cell phone back.
But your cell phone's still on evidence.
Well,
But,
yeah,
like I said, I'm not against it, I just don't want the behavior to continue.
I hear you, Trooper.
Christine, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And hey, sorry for the little scuffle we had here.
No worries, have a great day. All right, so we'll
He
see when we
knew,
get to
he knew I
December.
had my camera on there, and he just lied to this judge.
Well, you're allowed to have your camera, and you were allowed to record.
I know,
so
but he
that's not
just
an
lied to
issue.
him.
About what?
I had my camera on there along with these 3 other pieces. He took these 3 off and left my camera there.
Oh.
He knew it was there the whole time.
So what? It's good.
He just lied to him, though.
We'll get the recording on the phone.
How will we get that? In Discovery?
Discovery.
That's fine. Are you going to be representing me in the next?
It depends on what court of common pleas judge you go to. So if you go to Judge Branca's courtroom, that'll likely be assigned. That's the courtroom that I'm in.
Okay, now, I have a question. Is there anything illegal about having an audio or video recording of this proceeding right now?
No,
Oh.
you're allowed to take this proceeding.
Okay, I got it. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
You did very well.
Great. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks.
I wish the parking were a little better.
Oh, I hear you.
Bye, ladies. Okay, guys, so, oops. So, it looks as though, from what the, what this defense attorney just did, she was pretty good, actually. I'm pleased, except she didn't tell the judge that, that the trooper just lied to her. I do not abide people who lie. I do not abide that. Okay. Okay, let's see, did I get it? I did. I think I got it. By Joe, I think I got it. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my classical station. I am at peace with this. I am at peace. I'll tell you what. Okay. All right. I'm going to talk to you a little bit now, guys. We have to stand strong on this. And that trooper just lied to that Judge Augustine in there. Oh, boy. He just lied to him. And that, oh, nothing. What is worse than that? Oh, how can you say you are any authority under the law if you disrespect the law like that? How can you say that? So, I'm going to play this and hopefully we'll be able to get a premiere on this tonight, and you know, when you're in the middle of that kind of a thing, it is difficult because you just don't really know. But at least the judge took away the resisting arrest. But yeah, I had to talk loud, but I wasn't yelling and shouting and being belligerent. You all know that. You all know that. You all know, because I'm not that way. That is not me. So, although this is stressful, I am not going to back down. I can't. And you know what? When you come to something like this in your life, you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. No, not even mine. Is truth worth fighting for? That's the decision you have to make. And when you become a Christian, then I'm telling you, that is exactly what you are deciding. You are deciding to live for Christ. And Christ is truth. It's not that he was just on the cross that one day and that's the truth. It is, but that's not the totality of it. Truth is the truth. In everything you come across, in every aspect of your life, is it the truth? Are you seeking Jesus in everything? And so many churches have been beaten down to not accept that, to not hold that as your banner. And this is the evil that has come into the churches like a wedge of discouragement, a wedge that is driven into the whole basis of our faith, the whole basis of whether we're not a people. I don't know how more to express this, how much more emphasis to put on this. If we don't stand on the rock is truth. If we don't stand on the rock, then we are on sinking sand and we will be consumed. There is so many things in the Bible that are just so practical. You think, oh, well, you know, that's something else. It's not anything to do with me. No, it is you. It is everything, every day, you. Every question that you answer, every situation you're in, it's all about your daily life. Christ has to be with you daily, in you, daily. And you choosing Christ every day. Okay, I think I'm calming down a little bit now. So I really love you guys. I can't tell you how much you mean to me. Just being there on this video, and I know you are. Just being there, and me knowing that I'm fighting for you as much as anybody. You know, it's not about me. It's about us. It's about all of us. So, yeah, that trooper wanted some sort of a deal. Nah, how can you make a deal with the truth on the line? I don't make a deal. Nah. Jesus is Lord, and that's it. There is no deal making. I'm not going to bring him down one little step. No. So, that day when I was saying that this is freedom of speech, it appears as though at least this attorney was following that. And it wasn't just Pennsylvania law. Actually, there was freedom of speech. And this trooper just ignored all that. Shame on him. Shame. And And shame on that pastor. Shame on the Hunts. Did the Hunts really understand what was going on here? Probably not. I may have to forgive them at some point. But I do not forgive that pastor because he absolutely knew what was at stake here. He absolutely knew 100% because he lied. All right, I'm gonna see. You get me on this soapbox, and I'm gonna let you have it. So I can't tell you how much I love y'all, and I can't wait to watch this video and see. So, all right, this is the continuing of this, and it won't be till February. But I'm glad it's in the slow season, so I don't have to miss out on any more street teaching. Okay, love you, bye.